In a world already shadowed by ideological fractures, the spiritual battleground of the future may not be found in temples or texts, but in identity itself. In July, the 14th Dalai Lama, revered by millions, aged 90, resilient through decades of exile, made a declaration that echoed across the Himalayas and beyond. He will reincarnate, and he will not allow Beijing to determine how. With quiet resolve, the Dalai Lama reaffirmed what Tibetan Buddhism has known for centuries, that the sacred lineage of the Dalai Lamas cannot be dictated by the state, by politics, or by those who do not share the faith. The soul cannot be legislated. And yet, the storm that gathers now is not only political. It is deeply spiritual. The Chinese government has long insisted that it alone holds the right to identify the next Dalai Lama. That its ruling Communist Party, avowedly atheist, can determine the rebirth of a spiritual leader revered by generations of Tibetan Buddhists. This claim defies reason, tradition, and belief. And now, with this latest announcement, the Dalai Lama has drawn a clear line in the sand. He declared that Gaden Phodrang, the foundation he created and entrusted with safeguarding his legacy, will have the sole authority to recognize his reincarnation. This is not merely a procedural matter. It is a cultural reckoning, a spiritual confrontation, a geopolitical clash dressed in the robes of religion. Because should Beijing follow through on its plans, should it name its own Dalai Lama, raised in state-controlled monastic schools and serving political interests, then history may witness something unprecedented. Two Dalai Lamas. Two boys, chosen by two powers. One, discovered in accordance with centuries-old rituals. The other, appointed by decree. One trained in the mountains. The other in ministry buildings. One representing a people in exile. The other symbolizing the state that displaced them. This is the future that now looms. And it is a future pregnant with consequence. Tibetan Buddhists around the world have long feared this moment, the day when the passing of the current Dalai Lama would leave a spiritual vacuum ripe for manipulation. And now, even before that day has come, the stage is set. Because while the Dalai Lama remains alive, his proactive declaration sends a powerful message to his followers: prepare yourselves. Stand firm in tradition. Do not be deceived. He is calling for unity, for vigilance, for resistance, not through violence, but through faith. He is reminding the world that reincarnation is not an office to be assigned. It is not a political appointment. It is a spiritual journey, and its recognition belongs to the sacred traditions of Tibetan Buddhism, not to external authorities. In his words, spoken with calm and finality, he said, they should accordingly carry out the procedures of search and recognition in accordance with past tradition. No one else has any such authority to interfere in this matter. No one else. This is a rejection of Chinese state control, dressed in the robes of peace. And while it may appear quiet, the implications thunder. Because the reincarnation of the Dalai Lama is not just a religious matter, it is symbolic of the future of Tibet. It is a cultural identity at stake. It is spiritual sovereignty versus authoritarian rule. It is sacred tradition versus state propaganda. And the idea that Beijing would name a Dalai Lama of its own is not without precedent. The Chinese government did so with the Panchen Lama, kidnapping the boy identified by Tibetan monks and installing its own candidate. That wound still bleeds in Tibetan hearts. The idea of it happening again, on a global stage, with the Dalai Lama himself, would deepen it. But the Dalai Lama, ever the strategist in robes of a monk, has moved first. He has made it clear, if the Chinese state moves to declare a successor, it will be a political figure, not a spiritual one. It will carry no legitimacy among the Tibetan faithful. And therein lies the strength of his statement. He is not trying to control the future. He is preparing his people to resist its distortion. He is creating clarity where propaganda might seek confusion. And in doing so, he has ensured that even in the moment of his passing, his presence will endure. For Tibetan Buddhists, the search for the Dalai Lama's reincarnation is sacred. It is carried out with deep reverence. Monks study signs, dreams, omens, objects. Children are observed, tested, loved, chosen. It cannot be manufactured. It cannot be assigned by committee. It cannot be replicated by a state with no belief in the soul. Yet China insists. Because the soul of the Dalai Lama carries power. Soft power, global power, cultural power. And Beijing wants to wield it. But the Dalai Lama's announcement is a shield against this. It is a firewall of faith. And for the Tibetan people, for all who honor the spiritual freedom of indigenous cultures, it is a moment to rally. Because should two Dalai Lamas arise, one from tradition, one from power, the world will face a test of truth. Which one will it recognize? Which one will it honor? Which one will it follow? The battle will not be waged on borders or maps. It will be waged in temples.